Hi, this is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're going to be using the Masterbuilt MPS230 propane 30-inch smoker. So in the model numbers, the P in the MPS means the propane, and then of course the 230 is, I believe, 2 doors, 30 inches. So we have a relatively average size smoker here, but I got to tell you, I really like the layout and the look. It's a very clean looking smoker. It's average duty. It's not super heavy, but it's not really light. It is double walled, and the door is not heavy, and it's easy to move. When it's cool, one person can easily pick this up and move it around. Of course, you would want to unconnect the propane tank to do that. I have got it preheated, so it's warmed up. The first thing that I want to do is, I forgot to do this ahead of time, but what we were going to do here is we're going to take and we're going to make a foil tray. And as our template, we're going to use this. Now, this is warm, so I'm using my hot glove here. And one of my favorite purchases that I keep forgetting to bring out with me, but today I remembered it, and I love these things. So I'm going to take a sheet of aluminum foil, and I'm going to try to pull out enough that it's the same size as this tray. And then I have it there, and I'll just go ahead and try to get a nice straight tear on it. I usually mess this up, but it looks like I got it successful today. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Now, you don't necessarily have to fold it in half, but this is going to give me the exact coverage I want. What we're doing here is we're making a little tray to catch the drippings. And then I'm just going to fold the edges to give me some rigidity. And now I have a little tray, and I'll push in the ends so that way it's kind of curved, so if a bunch of oil comes off, it'll catch that. Now this will do a couple of things. The main thing that it does is it makes it really easy for cleanup. But the other thing that it does is when you're dealing with a smoker that has fire in it, is it keeps the oil from getting down near the burner. So we want to do that, and that really helps out a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in there because I would like it to be at full temperature, and I'll just set it right here in the bottom towards the middle. If you're not using the other shelves, you can feel free to set it up higher or whatever you want. And then these shelves have adjusters right here on the side that you can just clip in and clip out, and the shelves are really easy to slide right in there. You just kind of lay them on there, and when they're all the way out, they don't go up or down. They stay right in position. So I'm going to go ahead and close this back down again. Today, what we're cooking is some, what they called at the butcher shop, pork medallions. We have a independent grocery store that has a specialty butcher shop, so it's a lot better than some of your corporate ones. And they will special order stuff, and they'll also cut pieces that you can't find everywhere else. Like, for instance, I could go there today and get turkey, and I love to eat turkey year round, but it's usually something that you only think of during the holidays. But not me. I'll go get myself a turkey thighs or turkey legs, and I'll smoke them up anytime. We do have a video on smoked turkey legs, which also included thighs, just for that example. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a food glove on. And this is just because I'm OCD about getting my hands all dirty. I grab this one and pull this out. Now, my ultimate cooking location is just a little bit higher than this, but since this smoker is brand new and I want to get used to it, the last one I had was years ago, and so I don't remember exactly how it cooked, but we're going to learn together. We'll just go ahead and space these out here. I'm going to start by putting the 2 smallest ones toward the center here. And then I'll put the bigger ones on the edges. And I just want to give them a little bit of gap so that way the smoke and the heat can get around them. All right, so the door is closed. I had preheated this to 275. which is the target cooking temperature maximum. Now, I don't mind going a little bit lower than that. On most items like pork or whatever, that's kind of where I'm like to be happy. If I'm doing something like a brisket where I'm doing a really long cook, or even a pork butt, I like to start at 225 until I wrap, and then once I wrap, then I like to go up. So now, let's take a look down here. And this is the burner bowl here. And then I have a pan that was not included. This is actually a Little Chief or Big Chief smoker pan. And so I filled it with wood chips. And I'm still, like I said, trying to get my bearings on this smoker. And I put it about 2/3 full. Normally, if I was doing the Little Chief, I would pile it all the way to the top. Gonna set this in there and close the door. Now for today's smoke, what I used is the mesquite. Normally I would not use the mesquite with the pork. I would like to use a fruit wood, but because this smoker is new and just barely seasoned, I want to use something that's going to hit it a little strong. And again, you can hit it strong and then you can let it cook without, but when there's no seasoning in the smoker, it won't bring flavor to it. So you want to add as much flavor as you want right off the bat. My number one choice for pork is always apple, and then cherry, then pecan. But we're using the mesquite, like I said, to make up for the lack of seasoning in the smoker. So I'm going to show you this picture here, and there is the pork medallions, and what I think that they are is a cut of a pork roast cut into nice chunky steaks, and they should turn out really juicy on the inside because of the high fat content that you can see there. For seasoning, I put on my traditional 3-2-1-1, and then I add a little bit more garlic to it because pork is also one of those things I like to hit with a little bit more garlic. The 3-2-1-1 is 3 tablespoons pepper, 2 tablespoons garlic, 1 tablespoon kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. I always like to use coarse pepper and garlic granules, but use what you have. I would recommend not using fine. If you use a fine, it'll end up being a real powder, and you'll have to be really careful with how you apply it. And it just has a funny taste on the tongue. But so we're rising up to temperature here. We're just a little under 250. When you close this up, you have a little bit of a build-up time, and plus, every time you add something to your smoker, actually increase the thermal mass, which lowers your temperature. So you might even have to bump it up just a little bit. But again, I don't mind being a little on the short side when I have time on my temperature. I find that the food comes out a little bit moister and has a nicer crust on it. We're going to let this run for about an hour, and then we'll check on them. At that point, we should be flipping them over. I did not use the grill mat on this one because being a brand new smoker, I wanted to see how the grates work out. But normally I would always use the grill mats. This is kind of a test on the brand new grates. We'll go from there and we'll see how it works out. I'll see you in a second for you, an hour for me. I wanted to take a minute here to pop back on and show you how it's been going. So when the pan fully lit, I was watching the temperature and it went up just a little bit as the smoking really started roaring. You can see here that it is coming out at a really good pace. I have the vent set on about half, and I really like how it's going. I could open it just a little more, but I don't want to affect the temperature too much. You can see how good this airflow is with the smoke just pouring on out of here. I'm really happy with how it looks so far, and we'll check back, like I said, at the 1 hour mark. Time to check out the pork, but before we get started, we're going to go ahead and put some more wood chips in. First thing I'm going to do, put on the UV glove. Running real consistently, just under 2 or above 250. So I'm going to bring this up there so you can see that this is how those chips burned off. And these are a little bit bigger than the regular chips I usually use. I usually use Smokehouse products. Dump those in there, and now we're all empty. And then today, like I said, we're using the Western. I'm gonna fill the pan all the way. Last time I only did 2/3, but I'm trying to get a handle on how much chips to put in for the smoke output for this smoker. And down here we go. The temperature dropped down to 200, but as soon as that starts smoking, it'll bump right back up. I'm gonna switch gloves here. Well, that won't work. First, we'll open this, and we'll pull it out. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture while I have it out like that. Gonna go this way. Yeah, fill that whole side right there with that picture, because then you'll be able to get a real close look at those pork chops, and they get a little bit of red color on them, which means the smoke is really getting in there. And then got my glove on here. Didn't stick too bad. I think that we got them just at the right time. Oh, they're nice and soft, so they still have a ways to go for cooking. Be a little hotter. We have a little over an hour to go until dinner time, so I'm going to raise the temperature just a bit. When you're dealing with propane, it's similar to when you're dealing with analog. You don't have digital. You just kind of have to get an idea for where the dial goes to get the temperature that you want out. When you're first getting started, you'll set the temperature on the dial where you think you should be, and then you're just going to have to watch for about 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, you'll get a good idea of where the temperature is going to land. And if it's landing a little higher than you want, or it's still climbing, then you might back it down just a little bit and then kind of fine tune it. But it is going to take a little bit of practice for you. But the digital ones are a lot more expensive, and I have not seen a digital propane yet, but I'm sure it's just right around the corner. We're going to go ahead and run this for another hour, which will be, I don't know, 10 seconds for you, and then I'll be right back. The sky opened up, and here we are. This is the joys of living in Oregon. We got green everywhere, and sky's full of water all the time. Ooh, let's take a look there. That looks yummy. I'm gonna take a picture here, and I want to show you a couple of things really quick. I took the picture so I could include the drip tray that I made. And if you look at the picture here on the bottom, you'll see that the drip tray is full of liquid. And a lot of that's oil. And when it cools off, it will solidify, so it'll be easy to dispose of. But the other part, if you look at the top of the picture, you're gonna see some really nice looking pork chops there. And I did temp them, so we're really good there. We're a little higher, like a 160. And I wanted to go just a little lower than that, but it's okay. Oh wow, they cut really nice. Well, we're gonna get wet, so here we go. Very warm. Flavor is perfect. Could have used maybe just a little bit more smoke, but that's one of the things with having a new smoker, is that your seasoning just isn't quite there yet. But the flavor is perfect. It has all of the flavors you want. And the edges, because I bumped up the temperature up to just a little above 350, the edges are nice and crispy, and that's the way I like my pork chops. A lot of times I will take my pork chops and I will throw them up on the grill for a minute on each side just to crisp them up after I take them out of the smoker. But we won't need to do that today because this came out exactly the way I wanted. And so much so that I think I'm just gonna cut another piece. Whatever this cut is, like I said, it wasn't labeled, but it was right next to pork roast. It does have a lot of fat in it, and fatty pork just has the best taste. It's certainly not any like big chunks of fat, but it does have a lot of fat running throughout. Yeah, that is perfect. And I don't know if you can see that, but the rack is not like destroyed. It's not covered with stuff. It's got a little bit on there, but from now on I will use the grill mats to prevent that. If you've seen anything that you like here, especially this smoker, the links will be down below. They are affiliate links, so if you use those links, I will earn a commission. I have a lot of propane smoker articles already. There's a lot of different types of smokers that I've used, and I've had one before, so this is not my first rodeo with this. We'll put a couple of links in there, so that way you might find something that you're interested in, including a review with all the information and details about this smoker in the video. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.